Well, here it is, my Polygon Siskiu D8 with the Bafang BBSHD motor that I put on a few months ago. And why I'm doing this is it's just gone over the 1000k mark, and I thought I'd just show people the final build of my bike. It's changed a little bit from when I started. You may have seen previous videos that I put on YouTube titled Too Old to Ride an E-Bike, but I'm not. So here it is. I love it. It's a great bike. It's a dual suspension bike, and it's one of the budget bikes. They're built in Malaysia, I believe. They have reasonably high spec components. I'll show you a few. It's got rock shock front suspension with lockout, a little handle on it for locking it out. This little beast here. It's got 120mm travel. It's got a rock shock rear shocker as well with lockout and damper. Also pretty good, 120mm travel. It's got an 11 chainring cassette with Shimano XT gears, Dior I believe. Work okay, yeah, not bad. I don't use all 11 of those with my motor because the chain gets too offline. This is the chain ring that I've got on there. I got it with the motor, but it's not the one that normally comes with the BBSHD motor. It's a 42 tooth. The 46 tooth comes normally with it. Oh, listen to that. Yeah, I couldn't fit the 46 on because the rings, the gear actually touches my chainstay just in that spot there. So it came with the smaller, well, I ordered the smaller chain ring to go with it. It's got hydraulic brakes. They're also Shimano brakes, front and rear hydraulics, with 180 disc at the front, 160 at the back. They're not too bad. I just put new pads in it. Got 1000 Ks out of the old ones. What else can I show you? Oh, I put a couple of mud guards that I got from China and fitted those because I kept getting sick of having mud splatter on my backside and all over the bike when I rode in the wet. Oh, the seat is something that I found in a second-hand shop. It's an extremely comfortable seat. It's not the original seat, of course, but that was uncomfortable. It was one of those very stylish kind of mountain bike seats or racing seats. Hurt the old bum a bit. And my most recent modification to this was the seat post. I put a dropper seat post on it. And you can see it's got an external release that goes up the bike and all the way to my handlebar. It's this thing here. And you can see that I've got quite a cluster of things on this handlebar. The hydraulic brake, the gear levers for high and low, the seat post lever, the bell and the front suspension lockout. So I've got to be very careful here that I don't hit the wrong thing at the wrong time. I've also got a mirror on the end here that I've put on for driving in streets. You've got to have one of those, you don't know what's coming up behind you. Now that's the right hand handlebar. On the left hand I haven't got too much. I have got the display. I've used the 500C display. It's a bit more discreet than the big one that goes in the middle of the bike. In the middle of the bike I've put this little bracket on here so that I can put a phone or GPS if I need one. So having the display there frees up the centre of the handlebars. What else? I've got a throttle there that I never use. I like the pedal assist. It forces me to get a bit of exercise as well as travelling. Hydraulic brakes, as I've mentioned. Now the only problem fitting these motors, the motor kits on this, is the cables they come with. Now this BBSHD motor came with a whole lot of cables and they're all clustered here. Bit of a pain really, but I would have had to cut things, and I didn't like to cut cables. They got really thin wires and all of these connectors, and I didn't want to muck around chopping them up and redoing the cables, so I've kind of bunched them up around the head stem there and try to cover them a little bit. Not too bad, but this is quite a conglomeration of cables here, and that's because of all of this area through here with all the things that I've got on. Plus I've got a gear sensor that I attached to make the gear changing easy. Knocks the power off a little bit when you change gears to the motor. And I've also got an extra cable. I've put one of the motor, the brake stops that cut the motor, and attached a little magnet and the sensor for the brake cut-off. I've only got the brake cut-off on one side. You don't need it on both, and that's really handy. That's about it. What else? Oh, that's not a battery. That's a little carry bag that I bought one day and stuck on there, and I've got all my tools and emergency things, you know, my chain brakes and so on. It's all in there. Quite a handy little bag. And yeah, that's about it. There's the trademark of the bike, Siskiu. Very strange, you don't hear much about these, but it's a great bike. I can go on reasonably rough roads with it. I'm a bit old for that. I don't really go on anything too rough, but it's still pretty capable. What else have I done to it? Oh, pedals. It came with sort of Mickey Mouse pedals. I bought some better ones that I've put on. And the wheels, the rims are Mavics, not top of the range, but they're reasonable rims, and 27.5 inch Schwalbe tyres, 27.5 inch by 2.25, both front and both rear and front. And I think that's, oh no, battery, yeah. Yes, that was also a fairly late addition. I had a scooter battery, a little rectangular scooter battery that you may have seen in some of my earlier videos. Oh god, this is a bad truck. Anyway, it was on there probably for 500-600 Ks, and then I thought, no, I'll buy something decent, and I bought this 52 volt 14.5 ampere battery from EM3 EV, a fairly reputable company, I believe. And yeah, it's good, except that I wish I'd bought a higher amperage one to give me a bit more range and to give me a bit more power on the motor. It's pretty good though. I don't really need to go any faster than it does already. I could probably do about 45-50 on a flat road in top level, top pass level. I only ever ride it in pass, I don't bother using the throttle much. Very rarely do I use the throttle. I should take it off. Anyway, that's it. My modified dual suspension Polygon Siskiu D8. Just thought I'd show you. It's reached 1,000 Ks and it's terrific.